and welcome to the Fats Girl Speaks. Today is Monday, April 29th, and this is episode 61. Hi, how are you? Well, I'm so thankful that you asked. I'm doing fine too. If you're a new viewer, hello, how are you? If you're a returning viewer, I'd love to kiss your face yet again over the internets. Sorry, I'm cleaning my glasses. I just realized that they are, evidently when I was mud wrestling that rhinoceros last night, I got little speckles on my glasses. First rule of Mud Wrestling Rhinoceros Club is not to talk about Mud Wrestling Rhinoceros Club. Anyway, this is going to be a very big show. I'm sorry. I say that now, it's going to be like 10 minutes because I'm going to just rush through everything like a crazy person. But in my head at this moment, this show might be 75 hours long because I have some knitting, but mostly I have etc. I have super Pipeliner Shenanigans, which quite frankly are going to be non-linear, shall we say? Very wild mind. It's a technique put forth in writing down the bones, which I read when I was in a freshman in high school. I don't know why that just came to me all of a sudden, but that's exactly what it's going to be. Because I have not had even the slightest bit of time to, I mean, I have, but I have not done it yet, to defrag my mind of the shenanigans. Do you know what I mean? So the shenanigans are like this. They're not like coalesced into like a coherent and linear time frame. That doesn't even make sense. See, I'm just making up words at this point. But it's true. There is no, what is that word? Are you all yelling it at me? Okay, let me listen to you for just a second and I might hear it. Yeah, no, you're not yelling loud enough. There's no narrative. Thank you. Thank you very much, that one of you who yelled the loudest. Thank you. There is no coherent narrative at this point in my head because I do actually like to think about stuff way too much and then create a whole like thing. I have not done that yet. So it's going to be this. Fireworks. And there's prizes for the Gratitude KAL. And I feel like there was something else even, but that would be crazy. Oh, there's shameless self-promotion. Oh, I was going to tell you that right now. Okay, shameless self-promotion off the list. Shameless self-promotion. If usually I try to do updates on the first Friday of the month and the third Friday of the month. The first Friday is bags and yarn. The third Friday is just bags. I am going to be a fail this month, and I'm going to update the second and fourth Fridays of the month because the Pipeliner retreat was highly successful. Thank you all so much. And so I'm out of everything. So I need to sew and dye. Okay. So the shop update this for May will be, I believe it's May 10th. It's the second Friday of the month at 9 Eastern. And then the bags will be the fourth Friday of the month at 9 Eastern. Thanks. Okay, that's out of the way. So if you're a new viewer, usually how this works is I talk about shenanigans and then you listen to me impatiently until I talk about knitting. But today we're going to do it a little differently because I know. Okay, quite frankly, I'll be honest with you. I don't know why any of you would not want to listen to the Pipeliner Shenanigans, but if you're having a grumpy day, I get it. So just in case, I'm going to say those until the end-ish. But so will be prizes. So maybe I'll times two. I don't know. I can't decide. I'll do that. Okay. So we'll talk about knitting right away. What's up? How about we talk about my shiny, shiny red nose? But no, we won't talk about that. I haven't finished. Well, it's almost finished. It's not blocked because I just finished it last night. The Gratitude KAL, my project was Gills Rock by Paula Emmons Beasley. Oh my gosh. Now my total friend. She was my friend before, but now she's a touchy friend. I touched her. I sat next to her at the retreat by total accident. Oh, I love it. It's so exciting. I am hyper-revealing just a little bit. Anyway. Oh. Why does that smell so good? Does it smell like the retreat? I didn't know the retreat smelled like this, but maybe that's what it is. It smells really good. And not like Italian beef, which is what we had for dinner last day. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. Maybe it's the On a Branch soaps. It wasn't even near them, but maybe they made out when I wasn't looking. That's possible. Anyway, it's my Gills Rock by Paula Emmons Feasley. I said that already, sorry. And it's in Quince & Company Finch in the bird's egg colorway, I want to say. And I did everything like I was supposed to. Just like Paula told me. And it's not blocked yet, of course. But it's a lovely scarf. And it's in the Scarves ebook. So there, or real book, even sometimes. All the time. So it's total perfect scarf. I have a gray coat and I don't have any scarves that even look remotely right with it. Of course, this doesn't normally bother me because hi, I'm me. But it's going to be so pretty with it. I love it. Okay. Like, move on, slow pants. I know, hush. Oh, and I have about this much yarn left. Oh my gosh, I forgot. Oh, okay, sorry. So Paula, and that's about right. Paula said it would be like 75-ish grams. Mine might even be less because my gauge, of course. Like I would check that. And I did this on US Force. Okay, that spazzy face thing was me reminding myself to tell you that I apologize. I am insanely behind on all communication. So if you have communicated with me in a internet-y, non-face-to-face form, man, my nose is shiny. I am very sorry. I am super behind. Last week was a little bit crazy. Okay, it was a lot crazy because I was getting ready for the vending at the retreat and I had many calamities, which pushed me back. I had allowed myself like 2 weeks to get ready, and because of the various calamities, it instead turned into 1 week. So it was a little crazy. It cost a Delphat squirrel. So I apologize. I will try my best to get up with those this week. So thank you for your patience. It is greatly appreciated. Okay. Back to the knitting. There's no spinning. Back to the knitting. I have a hoe for my mama. This is the Simple Skype sock. I can't remember her name. I've said it before, but I don't have my spiffy screen because it's dead. The charger was in the car and I was far too lazy to get it. Sorry. And this is the Query Fibers. It's a sparkly thing and it's her fireworks colorway. And I'm knitting those on US Zeros. This is a very small sock because she is, well, it's not small this way, but she has very skinny feet. I don't know why I didn't get that jean. It's obviously recessive. Okay. I got Flintstone jean. Whatever. Makes afterthought heel socks fit really well. There's always a bright side, kids. Always a bright side. So yay. Does that Skype pattern show up so much? It does show up if you're really looking, I guess. But mainly I just knit it to help because sometimes that much ribbing, it's not like it's like basically 6x2 ribbing, which is not crazy, but sometimes the Skype just kind of helps it move along a little bit better. Heel as suggested, whole thing as suggested. So I haven't even cast off the second one, but I will. These are for my memo. Okay, next work in progress. Okay, I'll show you that because everything else is new. My Kara sweater, I was really hoping to get it done for the Pipeliner retreat, but as I mentioned last time, I basically got no knitting done last week because it was crazy. So, but I do have all of the body done, so I can't really show you very well because right now what I'm doing is the ribbing around the doodad. So, yay, here's a big bunch of yarn. And this is the Quince & Company Chickadee in the, I think it's the snap pea. It's not split pea because very famous Susan B. Anderson totally asked me to clarify that. I'm not even kidding you, she did. Anyway, this is not split pea, but I believe it's called snap pea. I'm a fail at having a band for you. So I'm starting on the ribbing around that, and then so you do the ribbing, and then you're supposed to do the ribbing on the sleeves, and then you block it, and then you seam it. And normally I'm Okay, let's face it. Normally I'm a very bad human and I just seam before I block. But because this is a lacy cardigan and I really do want to block it open, seaming it first would not be a good idea because the mattress seam is much more rigid than would be appropriate for this. And until after it's blocked. Does that make sense? But anyway, so I am super pleased with it. This yarn is a joy to knit with. Crazy. Next work in progress is the sock head hat. And again, I apologize, I don't know who it's by because I don't have this Swiffy screen. But it is made with Blue Moon Fiber Arts. Am I saying that right? Socks That Rock is what it's made with, people. You all know who I'm talking about. And this is the lightweight, and this is the Kapow Patina colorway. And I am, did I finish the ribbing? I think I'm almost done with the ribbing. It's like 4 inches of ribbing. So this is straight up 100%, except for the cast on row, knitting, pipeline retreat knitting. Of course I thought I would have this hat finished. But it did not happen, as you can clearly see. And I'm knitting that on size 0s. Because the suggested gauge for the hat is 8 stitches to inch. And fingering weight on 0s for me is... I didn't bring that project over. Whatever. Knitting on... I brought over an empty project bag because I thought it had that other thing in it. I just realized it does not. Anyway, so knitting on 0s yields me 7 stitches to the inch usually. Because I'm a super knitter. So my hat will be just slightly bigger, but that's fine because I have a slightly ginormouser head. Oh no, I did read it. This is it. This is it, right? Oh, the bag was empty because I took that out of it. Really? This, oh, that's that. So the socks that rock. I actually thought my husband had thrown all those away. I came home and, oh, but I don't have this one. I came home and my husband and my daughter had rearranged all of the furniture in the front 2 rooms of the house. Which is so cute because they were very busy. But some of you were like, I'm sure that doesn't bother me. It's very cute. And our house is only so big. Like our rooms are not really huge. So basically, and we have weird window configurations. This is a very old house. So basically everything just gets kind of rotated 90 degrees. It's not like mind blowing or anything. But for some reason, my husband, I don't know what it is, but he has to change the furniture position at least biannually. Really, pretty much at the beginning of every season he wants to, and sometimes it just gets pushed to the back burner. He loves to move the furniture around. I don't get it. But it's awesome because when he does, he vacuums everything. He's so much better at that stuff than I am. You know why? Because he vacuums 4 times a year. I vacuum slightly more often than that. So he cleans all it up when he moves the furniture around, which is very cute and super exciting when I don't have to be there to feel guilty that he's cleaning things when that's part of my job. Oops. Thank you again, Knitting Pipeline Retreat, for making that happen. This is just a plain vanilla sock, and it is with... I'm such a lucky human. It's ridiculous. I'm going to come back as like a field mouse with leprosy in my next life because I have used up any good karma that I could have possibly accrued over the last 2 million years in this lifetime. It's ridiculous, really. Ridiculous. This was gifted to me by a very generous soul who wishes to remain anonymous, but I know who you are and thank you. Do you feel me? Do you feel my hug? Do you feel it right now? Do you feel it? Do you feel it? Do you feel it? This is, Fiber Nymph Dye Works. Whoa, that was a weird one. Fiber Nymph Dye Works and her bounce base, and this is Shot Through the Heart colorway. But do you give love a bad name? So this was, again, more of my retreat knitting. Do you see those little tiny sticks? Those are my Carbons 00s. What? It's true. I made the move. When I started the toe on the 00s, I have not knit socks on 00s. I've never done that. But I've not knit socks on double points for a very long time. I'm a magic looper straight up. But my gauge has been it's getting looser all the time. There's probably an exercise for that. I can't recover from that bad joke. Okay. So I need to get more stitches to the inch. And so I decided to go down to double zeros. Well, they don't make, well, somebody's going to tell me they do, but I've never found double zero circulars. So go back to double points, right? But I used to get, oh my God, the phone's ringing again. Anyway, sorry. Train of thought. Where are you? So, but when I was doing the toe, it was horrendously awkward. I was really like, it was not cute. But now that I'm back on the foot, it feels better. And these will just be afterthought heels because that's how I roll. And now my stitch count has gone from like 7 stitches the inch, magic looping on zeros, to 10 stitches to the inch on double points because the double points are making my tension tighter anyway. And then also it's a smaller needle. But I dig these needles so far. Again, I've lain it this much, but I dig them. And I was sitting next to Rhymes with Maria. Malia, hi, Malia. At the retreat, and she was also knitting with them, and she also enjoyed them. So there's 2 people. And they are very affordable, like less than, 15 or less, usually. So yeah, I highly recommend them. Again, just to try them out, if nothing else. It's not a terrible price point. I do have the zeros in the circular. I did not have as much luck with those, but let me preface this by saying I am trying to tighten up my gauge. So I had more trouble sliding my stitches in the join, but that might be just because I was tightening my gauge. It may not have anything to do with the join of the actual needle. So that was my experience, but I'm not saying that they're not a good needle, or they have bad joins. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying, I think maybe because I'm specifically trying to tighten my gauge up, it felt a little bit like harder to smush those through there. Because usually it's just like, foop, and I'm, But I do think in general that I don't have a pair here, but the gauge that has, the join that has like the metal join that caps one to the other, I do think in general that's a harder one to navigate than like these are the Chalgoos and they just are straight cord into needle. And that's just my perception. Anyway, so there's that. That's all the knitting? That's all the knitting. Yes, it is. Okay. I'll do... Okay, you know how earlier... Okay, so I'm sorry. Okay, I'm going to do stuff. Now, I have to admit, I was gifted several things at the Pipeline Retreat. But I'm not going to show them all because I'm almost embarrassed by how nice everybody was. Okay, I'm not almost embarrassed. I totally am embarrassed by how nice everybody is. I know that that's ridiculous, okay? I hear other people, podcasters, say that, and I'm like, I'm not kidding you. I'm literally embarrassed by how generous everybody was. But what I will do is show you what I got from other merchants while I was there. Because it's their business, yo, and we should support them. Okay? So the first things I'll show you, because they're on top. John and Ginny was there! She, by the way, so cute. Kitchen Counter Crafter on Etsy. And her Etsy site is javajenny.etsy.com. And she does lovely snappy tape bags, which you've heard me rave about before. Not her specifically, but just the concept thereof. And hers are lovely. So nice, pretty inside and pretty on the outside. So she even has like the fancy little ribbony pulls too. Oh, very easily. Oh, this is too hard for my finger here. Open this up. I just want to pull. And the little handle. How cute is she? And she's so cute that she gave you a prize too. So I'm going to show you the prize now, but it's for the Orange Cow. Let me just discuss. So many of you are participating in the Orange Cow, and it's a good thing because we have Jimondo Prize Bucket 5,000 for the Orange Cow. I really love the Orange Cow. I'm so excited. Some of you were so cute. Some of you were like, do I have to knit a certain thing? That's not how I roll. It's not my business to tell you what you want to knit. But I will say it has to be, some part of it has to be orange. And I am so excited about my new role as Orange Police. People at the retreat were like, do you think this is orange enough? I'm like, oh my gosh, yes. How cute are you? I love it. By the way, if you can always use a little filter action on your camera. I didn't say that. Never mind. But so then Java Jenny also donated so generously to your faces one of her small project bags, which has a snap on it for security. So perfect for like a sock. Perfect. And at first I didn't even notice it, but it totally has orange on it. Look, the little ribbon is orange and the bird wings are orange. So it totally works. She's so fancy. And she donated stitch marker, and it's her very clever, did she call it? She called it something. Oh, I'm a fail. Whatever. It's like a double. Her things are all coffee, right? Now this is the double shot stitch marker in my mind. So it works whether you have a bigger needle or a littler needle. Can you see that? Well, that's what it is, people. So there you go. Little needle, big needle. Works either way. I really want to say an off-color joke right now. Did you get it? Okay. I didn't say anything. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, and then she also gave you little kitty tags. And she gave me some too. It's a whole little bucket of them. Like cute little fabrics. Cute little papers. She's so cute. Anyway. And then, so that was Java Jenny. And then I met Cakewalk Yarns. She's so cute. Okay, what should I do? Yes, this is orange enough for the orange cow, you ask? Yes, it is. And guess what the colorway name is? Oh my gosh, it's also orange enough for my mustache. Gosh, everything smells so good. What's up? This is her colorway Aztec Tomb. For when I major in whatever the South American version of Egyptology is. Aztecology. Anyway, it's beautiful. This is 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 25% nylon. And it's the footsie base. So Cakewalk Yarns, of course. How excited was I? Then BFL Sparkle. And this is from Yarn Geek Fibers. And you can find her on Etsy and also on Ravelry and also on Facebook and also at yarngeekfibers.com. That's the easiest one to say. Yarngeekfibers.com. And this is so sparkly, it's out of control. It's 70% BFL, 30% Firestar, and it's 4 ounces, and it's her colorway Beautimus, because of course it is. Look at how much, what is that? See how much sparkles in here? It's totally crazy. So yay her! Okay. Now we're going to do prizes at 2320. Prizes. Okay. Oh, no, we're not. Lie. Cakewalk also. Lovely Rose. Look how brilliant she is. She is the genius. You're like, tell us, because we can't tell. These are zipper pulls. But so they have her little like logo-y thing on them, but one says socks and one says shawl. When you have so many projects that you can't remember what's in the bag and you don't want to bother with opening it, you have a pull that'll tell you, oh, this bag has socks in it and this bag has a shawl in it. Okay, now we're doing prizes for real at minute 24. Yay, Gratitude KAL! So, I did the random generator beforehand because I did. I don't cheat. You can trust me. And I generated 2 through 98. And our first prize is the beautiful project bag from Erin at Bling Your String. This is just like my bear project bag, which is awesome. It says blah, 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 which will remind you of the show all the time. Because that's all I do. Yay! The winner is number 67. Is that you? It is if you're Die Cat Diana from Lincoln. And she knit a drizzle hat by the beautiful Imsky. Beak of Seagull Knits. Yay, Die Cat. So contact me for these prizes, and I, with your address via Ravelry PM, and I will send them out to you. Second prize is hiking. Where is it? This is the time to panic. Where is it? Okay, here we go. Sorry. Woo! That was scary. Erin from Bling Your String has generously donated not 1 prize, but 2. These are her stitch markers. Look how many. You get like about 75 million. And one of them is a squirrel. I'm not even lying to you. It's a stinking glass squirrel. Right. And that prize goes to lucky number 10. Is that you? It is if you're Joan Platt of Massachusetts. And she knit a French-sounding hat. It's very cute, but I'm not going to try to say it. I took Spanish. Hush. Pill Bonjour hat. That's totally not right. I'm from Ohio, and I live in Indiana. That's not close to France. Okay, prize number 3. Generously donated by On a Branch Soaps. And you get 2 bars of her fancy, fancy homemade soap. You get oatmeal and honey. And you also get Penelope. And her website is, she's on Etsy. So she's etsy.com/shop/On a Branch Soaps. Bling Your String is also on Etsy. Everything smells so good. That's right. Okay, let me also confess, sidebar. I have non-knitter friends who occasionally watch the show just because they're my friends and they think that I'm sure they just feel obliged to do so. But they're friends. But they're often like, is it really appropriate that you're shoving your nose in the prizes are for everybody? Isn't that cute? They're not knitters. They don't know. You literally can't you just can't. You can't help it. If you have the knitting gene, you also have the yarn smashed to your face gene. They are together. Studies show. Empirical evidence style. So, number 2 gets the soap. You know who that is? It's Flancers. Jackie from Wisconsin. It's Washington. Not even close. And she knit a silky. She gets the soap. Next prize is a coupon code for $6 off a pattern by Lethal Knits, donated very generously by Venusian Beauty, because she test knits for Lethal Knits and she gave her that, and now she's giving it to you because she's so generous. Oh my gosh. It goes entry number 47, which is Real Yankee Jean from Washington. She knit a Gills Rock. I know that designer. Yay! So you can still contact me though, Real Yankee Jean, because I have the coupon code. So just PM me. And then last but certainly not least, a giftable pattern in the amount of $10 or less, donated by our very generous Jico, goes to, you've heard her name before, number 54. Am I? Yes, I am. You totally won again. What's up? Suzanne! She's from Erie, Pennsylvania, and she knit a cherry lace cowl, which is, by the way, terribly pretty. And happy belated birthday! So, yay! You can contact me too. Just tell me what you want, and I'll tell Chico. And she'll make it happen, magic style. That's all the prizes. Oh my gosh, look, our minutes are going out so evenly. And now I'm going to talk about the Knitting Pipeline Retreat at approximately minute marker number 30. And I have to stall for 25 seconds now, but I think I could do it. Okay. So I'm not sure if everybody knows, but this weekend I had the pleasure of attending the Knitting Pipeline Retreat in Washington, Illinois. It was my first ever knitting retreat. both attending and vending. I know, right? I'm just like, let's just jump in feet first. But it was so fun. We had Carpool of Awesomeitude, Libby Ball of Multicraftual, and Rhymesmith Maria Malia of Bloomington, Indiana. They carpooled in conjunction with one another to the lovely Joanna Springs house. And then I met them all there. And then we all convened and visited her chickens and her turkeys and sugar pie, of course. I totally got to dance with sugar pie. Just saying. And then we headed from that casa west to Washington. Not really, because we stopped several places. But that was our end goal. It was such fun. The car trip alone was totally festive. What's up with that? We were just driving along, and all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, we're in Illinois. Everybody look at the side. And we're like, and Joanna kept us to our trip itinerary because it happened so fast. I didn't even know we were in the place we were stopped for lunch. Right? It was that exciting. So we stopped at Super Crunchy Crunchy Crunch Town. Well, not the whole town, but the place where we had lunch was like okay, it's not Wild Oats anymore. It was a Whole Foods, but only like a co-op-y one, like an independent one. And I don't know why they let us in, because we did not have dreadlocks, but they totally still let us in, and they were very nice. And everybody had lunch, and I bought some Enterprise apples and cheese. And then we went across the street, literally across the street, and visited Close Knit. Is that right? Joanna. I think it's Close Knit, right? So we went there, and she was super cute. We sloughed up against some of Stephen West's old skin cells. It was awesome. And then we rode from there, and we all bought yarn. Surprise! And we went from there to Heritage Farms and visited some sheep. Yo. She has Lincoln long wools. And by the way, we went to her talk at the retreat. Fascinating. Fascinating. I had no idea Lincoln long wools were such a rare breed. Like, they're not just rare breed. They're like super endangerfied. Like giant panda style. Not even kidding you. And like there was she tells the whole history of like the breeding program in the United States, and how at one time she had 6 of the 9 Lincoln long wool ewes in the entire like country. Maybe even the world, now that I say that. I don't know. But whatever. I wouldn't even wanted 6 of the 9 in the state. That would have made me too nervous. She's like the guardian of their gene pool. How cool is that? We got to visit the sheep, and she was getting ready to go to the Pipeline retreat because she was going to. Oh, I forgot to tell you. We were totally running behind. See, I told you it was going to be wild mind. Non-linear. Go with it. Go. When we were at Close Knit, we really kind of thought we were running like an hour behind because the Bloomington girls hit some traffic on the way up. And I say girls because I love girls and women at the same time. And that is not meant to be in any way derogatory, as some people think it is. It is not that, because I highly value women of all ages. So shush with your face if that's what you're thinking. You don't have to hush, but that's not me. That's not what I'm doing here. Okay. So I say girls, meaning that they are slightly younger than I am, and they're very cute, but they are also powerful. Okay, whatever. We're getting into a quagmire. Moving on. The Bloomington ladies. We thought we were late because I hit traffic. And but so when we were in Close Knit, we all had this beautiful, okay, Libby was not involved in Revelation because she operates outside normal space-time. You all knew that though, right? Okay. So we're in the knitting store, and we all had, those of us who are operating slightly on space-time, had the realization that we had crossed the interstatal time zone. So we gained an hour. We time traveled a whole hour. It was like we got to eat lunch and visit the yarn store for free in terms of time. So that was so much a relief because we were really kind of like, so isn't that exciting when that happens? Illinois is a different state, which is an hour behind us from Indiana. Yay. So we were at the farm meeting the sheep, and she was getting ready with herself to go to the retreat. And so her husband took us around the farm, and he wrangled us a lamb because they had already put the lambs back because we were later than the other people. But so he couldn't get the little tiny ones because they're too fast. So he got like a month and a half old one, just like this big. And beautiful Malia is in like this very cute dress, which is like a thin knit. And I was really like, oh my gosh, because she's holding the sheep because she's so cute and fearless. And I was like, oh my gosh, that sheep's hooves, I could just see them like ripping through her paper dress, leaving her in tatters. And I was like, oh. And she had a beautiful shawl on. It was out of hand spun. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this sheep's going to totally eat your whole outfit. But it didn't. It did not destroy her in any way. So that was good. So we got to ooh and ah over the sheeps and visit the rams, not in person because they're feisty, and the alpacas. It was so awesome. And then we're in Illinois, Morton-ish. And I don't have, none of us really has an option to do the phone that talks to space. And Joanna, of course, in her driveway is like, should I bring the GPS? We have one of those. And I'm like, nah, I got directions written on an envelope. We're fine. Because that's how I roll. I think Bill might have been concerned that I was going to take his wife to Tijuana. I didn't. I got her home safe. Take that. But I was like, I got directions on an envelope. We don't need a GPS. Maybe I should have taken it. Whatever, shush. We didn't get lost. But as we were standing outside the alpaca bins, or no, we were in the barn because he was showing us the skirted place. He was telling us the best way to get to the church where the retreat was being held. And he did very nice directions. He did not do the like, go to the Smiths and turn left. They're the ones with that mangy dog. Because those directions are awesome, but are not helpful to outsiders. But he did do the directions where like, well, you just go out here and you see those grain elevators over there. You just go to those grain elevators and you're going to make a left. And then that road's going to T and then you're going to make a right. And then you're going to come to Washington Blacktop and then you're going to make a left. And we were like, is Washington Blacktop a road or is it a company? Like we're all independently thinking this in our heads as we all try to remember like our secret part of the directions, which we've not agreed upon before is what we're doing. But you know, that's what you do, right? When you're in a group and somebody's telling you directions, you're like, okay, I'm going to take part number 3. And then maybe you all get into part number 3, but oh well, you tried. So I'm like, I'm trying to remember, but I'm thinking we're going to go the way that my envelope tells me. Because I don't want to get all these ladies lost in a cornfield somewhere. Oh. He's like, go through the 4-way stop, and then you go through the circle, and then you're there. I'm like, oh. But luckily, his beautiful wife was also going to the retreat, so we followed her. And it was, as we were driving, we're like, oh yeah, we totally could have found this. That's exactly what he told us. But luckily, we didn't have to. Because it might have been a disaster. So we get to the retreat, and we're late. We're not late. We're 2 minutes late, pretty much. It starts at 2. I think we're there at like 2:05. I don't know. But we were one of the later arrivals. But somehow, mystically and magically, there is an entire table with only Paula at it. We got to sit with Paula. And then we got to sit with Susan B. Anderson because she came and there was a spot available. What? We were so lucky. It was out of control. And it was beautiful because it was like this great, like, I was like, how do we play speed dating there? Because I want to meet everybody. But I'm not really good at like going up to people. Like, I'm not very good at that. Like, it's not one of my strong suits. But it was so awesome because people just like were so good at moving around and like sitting down and chatting. It was amazing. So have you introduced yourselves? Oh my gosh, I could die. It was so embarrassing, wonderful, and great. I'm so lucky. And let me just say, in a totally superficial vein, those pipeliners are a good-looking bunch of people. I'm not even lying. There were at least 7 times that I was struck by how attractive people were. Not individually, yes. But just, you were all so pretty. It was ridiculous. And handsome. It was ridiculous. It's like the best looking group of people I could ever have hoped to be a part of. And then they were nice too. What is that? So it was amazing. We belly danced with Libby. That's right. Some of us did it. Some of us may have done it purely out of obligation because we love Libby's face. but it was awesome. And then we camped at the church. Some of us did. Some of us slept in hotels. We slept at the church. We blew up our air mattresses and slept at the church like true campers in the inside. So it's not really true campers on air mattress. Okay, whatever. Close-ish. Not really. A little bit. But that was exciting. So, okay, so you're probably going to have heard this story before if you were at the retreat. I'm sorry, I'm telling it again for the people who weren't there because I need to get the entire experience, right? Okay. So, because everybody the next morning asks you how you slept, especially if you're one of the people who slept at the church. Because, you know, they're secretly like, how'd you sleep? Non-maliciously, of course. But, hi, of course. So what happened is I totally went to bed with I had a slight headache and I should have known better. I thought when I was packing, oh, I should put some ibuprofen in like a Ziploc bag and just put it in my pocket. But I forgot to do that. And then when I remembered it, I had like my hands full. And I was like, whatever. I'm going to be in a room with like 120 other humans. Somebody's going to have ibuprofen, right? Okay. So at 2:00 in the morning, though, I wake up with an insane, like, splitting headache. Like, kind of made you nauseous kind, you know? So that kind of stinks. Not really. I mean, I normally would just been like, oh, that's a bummer. But I have to drive these other humans home the next day, and I don't want to kill any of them. So I have to be on my game. You know, I can't be like, I slept an hour because I'm afraid that I'll hurt them by accident. So I lay there for like half an hour thinking, okay, just shush, just, you know, I'm trying to quiet my mind, trying to just zen out. I go up to the bathroom. I come back and make Bronwyn pee herself before she gets to the bathroom. Not really, but kind of, because I scared her really bad because I'm such a ninja, as I have mentioned before. I was going into the room where we were all, well, some of us were sleeping. There were people in other rooms too, but the most of us were in the multi-purpose room. And I'm like wearing a hoodie. I specifically kept taking my hood off when I would get up because I didn't want to scare anybody, like walking around with my hood and like all lumbery style. But I was coming back from the ladies' room and Bronwyn was going to the ladies' room, but like we must have just been like at the right angle where we didn't see each other. And I was in a more lighted situation, so I felt like I was not as alarmed because I was in the position of power, clearly, if she had been a predator. Whatever. But I scared the bejesus out of her. And I can't believe we didn't wake him up because she was like, bah! And then we both had to do the quiet, like, bend over laugh because you're, like, trying not to wake a whole bunch of people up. But it was kind of silly and funny. So I took it back. And I'm trying to lay there. I'm just trying to empty my mind out so I can go to sleep with this ridiculous headache. Like, so then it occurs to me, because I'm thinking, like, if there's no vending machine in the church, because, I mean, why would there be? But I'm just, you know, I'm trying to think of options. It's 2:00 in the morning. I'm sure everybody in that place had an ibuprofen, but I wasn't going to just stand up and yell, does anybody have an ibuprofen? So I'm like, oh, like, I can't get it. I actually almost got in my car and drove to a wall because there's a Walmart in the town. Or outside of the town. I almost got in my car, like left a scary note on my pillow, like, I've not been captured. I'll be back in the morning. Because they lock the church doors. Like, if you leave, you can't get back in. So I was like, I'm going to have to leave in my car and go to Walmart and get medicine and then just sleep in my van. Which might have made a better story, but was not really what I was going for. So after I lay there for like half an hour, I had the brilliant realization that there's a giant kitchen there from which they fed us and that there might be a first aid kit in that kitchen. So I'm looking with like, I have my book light because I don't have my headlamp. Silly me. I have my book light and I'm like looking through the kitchen, which is all immaculately labeled. Thank goodness, because I would have had to open every cabinet in there like a crazy person. But it's all perfectly labeled. I'm looking, there's no medicine for dummies who don't have any cabinet. So I'm looking, finally I find like a plastic bin that has like Band-Aids and stuff in it, and there's Tylenol, and I stole 3 Tylenol from the church's stock. I'm admitting it right now. But there was no like leave a quarter here, and I couldn't find paper. So I'm admitting it to all of you. I did put an extra $1 in the donation bin, in the bucket, in the food paying thing, just in case. I hope that evens it out. Anyway, those are the best 3 Tylenol in the entire world. So I got to like sit in the chair in the church and read at night. It was so fun. I mean, isn't that random? That was fun. I have a quiet life, people. Hush. So then I went back and lay down and I slept fairly well until the morning time. And then I got to be awake before everybody and like toddle around and go read it. Oh, it was so fun. And then everybody came. And we got to breakfast together. And then we had more knitting shenanigans. And then we had lunch together. And then we vended. And that was an experience. Let me just say a very sincere and deep thank you to everybody who did not laugh at me. Thank you very much. Let me send an extra thank you to anybody who did not get impatient with me, which was everybody. Nobody got impatient with me. I don't know how they did it. They're just brilliant, wonderful people. My card reader thingy wouldn't work, but it took me like 12 minutes to accept that it wouldn't work before I altered my game plan, and then it just threw me off the whole time. So I'm sorry. I am usually not quite as flustered as I appeared that day during that hour and a half-ish. It was my first vending experience, and it went a little crazy. But it was very successful, and everybody was so kind and so patient and so sweet. Like I would expect anything less. Really? I wouldn't. I was nervous, but I knew it would be okay because knitters are amazing. Really awesome. Knitting pipeliners especially, evidently. And then we said our goodbyes, which was such a bummer. I'm not even gonna lie. It was a total bummer to say goodbye to everybody. And then we drove home, which was awesome. If you can carpool to a knitting retreat, I highly recommend it. Not only because A, it saves money, which is amazing. It saves the environment because you didn't all four spend gas money or use petrol to get there. But also just because it kind of like gives you a tapering off. Like it gives you a build up when you're going there, like to be around people, but not so many people. It's like the kiddie pool of retreats. Like it warms you up. And then like when you're coming back, instead of just being like, oh, I went from being around 120 people to being around nobody for my 3-hour car drive home, you still get to be around some people. So it's like a tapering off. It's really nice. So there were all those shenanigans. And then we got to meet Joanna's new sheep. Joanna, I love you. And Joanna gave us eggs. What? And beer. What? Somebody else gave me beer. Is it okay? Let me just also mention this. Okay, now it's noon. I could have totally gotten away with that. God. Okay, now I said I wasn't going to tell you that anybody gave me anything because I was embarrassed how awesome everybody was. Okay, I'm just going to tell you real quick, though. Real quick. Lynn totally brought me Fat Squirrel beer. But we didn't take it into the church. Nobody worry. It was just strictly from car to car transport. No worries. But I really was like, I'm going to just drink a beer and do my podcast. But then I started, and when I started gathering everything, it was like 9:30 in the morning. And I really still almost did it, but I didn't. But thank you. So she offered to give us beer even, and I was like, at that point, I felt like that, like I'm turning into a pumpkin moment where I was like, no, I probably just need to and drive home fast. And she was like, okay. And oh my gosh, we left at the perfect time because this kind of was a bummer the whole way home. We like brought the rain from Washington, Illinois to Indiana, like to Indianapolis. We literally, when we got to Joanna's house, Bill was like, it just started raining like 20 minutes ago. I'm like, we really did drive with the rain the whole way. But it wasn't bad rain, and it was enough light that but by the time I dropped them off and then had to leave and take some of Joanna's trees with me as I backed out of her driveway at night. Sorry, I pruned her stuff so well this weekend. It's out of control. But then it was pitch black by the time I left, and it was raining, and it was in the country, so there's no light pollution, which I normally don't like, but sometimes comes in handy. So I'm driving home like this. And there's all this construction up near where she lives. And so, like, you can't. I didn't die. That's all that matters, right? That's all that matters. And then I realized as I was driving I thought I had done fairly well getting out of her driveway because I also didn't remember. I couldn't remember I thought I had looked when I pulled into the driveway to make sure there wasn't like a culvert on either side of her actual very narrow driveway. And I thought there wasn't, but then when I was backing out, I had this terrible fear that I had just glossed over that and that I was going to like pull into a giant ditch and then that would be so embarrassing and such a pain in the neck for everybody, but also just so embarrassing. But I managed not to do that because luckily there was not a culvert, because if there had been, I would have been there. But as I was driving home, I realized that thank you, makers of the Chrysler minivan of 2000, who has mirrors that do like a breakaway thing when you hit something like a tree in Joanna's yard. It was just a bush, but evidently I hit it with enough force that it popped my mirror back. So then I'm driving in the dark, in the rain, and I don't even have a mirror on my side. I have to roll down my window and reach out and pop it back as I'm trying to exit. And but I'm glad it's okay. I'm actually a relatively good driver. I promise. It's true, I am. But anyway, is that enough of me? Oh my gosh, it's so way too much of me. I didn't even tell you a third of the awesome things that happened. I can't even begin to tell you all the people I met, because while I remember them, I might as well just read the whole list of people who attended, because it was awesome. So that's all. I hope you have a great week. See you next time. Bye.